Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my pick and analysis of the 2019 Week 4 NFL matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. Now, I like Chicago in this one to win at home in a tight battle, very contested battle. Minnesota, Chicago, right now, both 2-1. But Minnesota, right now, they're kind of a hard team to figure out. They look good one week. They're kind of vacillating. They don't look so good the next week. Now, they played Green Bay very tough. I know that was a road game. It's very interesting how this, even though it's very early in the season, you look at how the Minnesota Vikings could very well be viewed after 4 games. Now, being 2-1 right now, they somehow go into Chicago and emerge victorious. They'll be 3-1, and people will be saying, well, this team could very well be improved upon last season. Kirk Cousins is playing better. He may not be, last season, as many of you may know, Kirk Cousins had a little bit of propensity to turn the ball over. I think he turned the ball over, I don't know if it was the most times of any quarterback, but he was right up there among the tops in the league in that turnover department. And this is no knockout on Kirk Cousins. He's proficient about every other way. His completion percentage, his accuracy. They've got a great receiver, Adam Thielen, Stefon Diggs. What they need to do in this game in order to win, though, the running back, I think, needs to dominate. I think they need to just make sure that they're going to stay with fundamental old school style that Coach Mike Zimmer has been successful with previously. If they start throwing the ball too much, then Chicago is going to be able to guess. This is going to be very predictable. The Chicago defense, it seems like it is adequate right now. I don't know if it's as good as it was last season. Khalil Mack is really one of the better defenders in the NFL, and he's going to be spearheading this team. Chicago seems to be revived now and rejuvenated after a very poor Week 1 showing against the Packers. I think they only put up like 3 points, and people were basically chastising Trubisky, the quarterback for the Bears, and saying a lot of derogatory things about him and wondering if he was going to even be consistent, even an adequate NFL quarterback. What was going to be his fate? But he seems to have come on strong. I think he had like 3 touchdown passes in the last game they played against the Washington Redskins. It was even though it was Washington, it was a solid road game, and it was under the Monday Night Lights. I think this is the Chicago Bears right now. Their defense appears to be adequate enough, and their offense is slowly but steadily improving and making progress. There seems to be more synchronicity with the quarterback and receivers, and they seem to be playing more cohesively now. I think they're starting to get all on the same page. And being at home, I think against the Minnesota Vikings, a team which really, I don't know if we really know at this point whether they are an upper echelon team or they're just a good team, or are they a mediocre team. Last season, I think they were like 8-7-1, and which is basically mediocre. What's going to happen in this game? And it's so, even though, the matchup is really very compelling because the winner, of course, goes to 3-1, loser 2-2. 3-1, even just only 4 games into the season, looks so much better than 2-2. 2-2, you look like a 2-2 is like a passable mediocre team. 3-1, oh, you're a great team. You're winning 75% of your games. So this game could be very telling, even though it's very early. It could even be one of the determining factors in playoff implications, or play a strong role in playoff implications and seedings, or at least who may actually win the division. You've got Green Bay right now, Minnesota, and Chicago. I think it's conceivable any one of those teams could win it, and of course it's going to come down probably who gets hot at that end of the season, who finishes very strong in those final 4 games or so. So this game has certain significance to it, but I do like Chicago to get this one, being mainly on virtue of being at home. If Minnesota was at home, I would have likely taken them, but Chicago being at home, I think they have some swagger now. They came off a good road victory, and now they're going to be at home in Chicago, and I think they should be able to get this one. So I'm going to take the Bears at home to win. Well, until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.